Hello, this is Ryan Miller. Going to go through a few things as we're preparing to print interim reports. A few things you need to double check to make sure everything's good to go. So let's start off by going in and double checking that our Q1 the grades are set up so that it'll calculate correctly. So we're going to go to grade setup and we're going to be concentrating on Q1, but let me say something real quick about this F1. To have the final marks show up correctly on the transcript, everybody in the state had to have the same container. So we had to change for a semester-long course, S1 had to go to F1, and for a second semester-long course, S2 had to be changed to F1. And for year-long courses, that meant Y1 is now F1. So that's why that change was made. It was just a name change of the container, so your math will still be there. So F1 should be set to term weights, and then you have Q1, Q2, and E1, and it should be 37.5, 37.5, and 25. If you happen to be a course at like a middle school that doesn't require a final exam grade, you can have this 50-50 and 0, but if you do have 37.5, 37.5, and 25 for all your courses, because you don't have an exam grade, that's ignored, and it will actually use just those two scores to calculate the final mark. So we're good to go there. I'm going to close out of that, and then I'm going to go to Q1, and I like hitting the arrow one click there. Now if you're doing a total points grade book and it's a true total points, then we just have total points selected up here at the top, and you're done and you're ready to go. If you're using weighted grades through categories, we're going to have to select category weights here, and you can add and remove different categories by clicking on add category down here at the bottom. Then use your check boxes to either include or exclude the categories that you want to have included in this grade. You click OK. Then we need to go in and double check and make sure that all of these weights are correct. For example, I've got 60, 80, and 100 weights here. It doesn't have to add up to 100, but it's good best practice. So let's say that I just decided that here at the end I'm going to cut projects out. I'm not going to use projects this year. They're all going to be under project-based learning. I can click on here, switch that to a 0, click on this number, change that to 20, and then save my change. The best practice, once you make any changes to either your category weights or your grade scales, you need to go back up to Tools and go Recalculate Final Scores and click OK. That will ensure that any changes that you have made to your category weights will be applied to your students' grades. Again, that was Tools, Recalculate Final Scores, and you can do that multiple times. You're not going to break anything. So I'm going to close Q1 up here. I'm going to go back to my score sheet and just review, make sure everything looks good. And now we're ready to print interim reports. Now, we understand the state is currently working on interim reports to push out. We have not seen that come through yet. So what we're recommending you do is you use the individual student report. So you do a mouse click on that arrow there, and under the criteria you can go through and pick out what you want to have here. So we're going to do PDF, and instead of just a selected class, we're going to go ahead and do them all. So let's say that we're ready to do them all, and we're going to do all enrolled. We're going to do student names, and you can choose to abbreviate assignments and categories to use the short names if you want to, but I'll leave it up to you. You can play around with that. Now the manual down here at the bottom, this is sort of important to think about. The best practice is to actually put in the scores for the grade period, for the time period that you want to show for interim reports. If you happen to have an assignment that was due after the interim report time, it would show. So the best practice is to change this to the time frame. So we're going to say August 26th through whatever date you want to use for your interim reports. So I'm just going to say the 27th for this. I can go to layout, and here I can make some more changes. So I can put a top note, a bottom note, and I can include a signature line if I wanted mom and dad to send that back to me signed, and then I can put any notes in here that I want. Still time to turn in past assignments, if I could spell. Alright, and hit run report, and that's going to give me a PDF for every student in my classes. So you can see that the information showing up here at the top is Q1, current final grade would be a 90, and the assignments, the scores for those assignments, and then the categories that I have used so far. And then here's that note that I put in. Okay. Because I ran this for all, see, this is for my 0 period, and then this is for my AP. It would be split up between your different courses, and they would be in alphabetical order, so we'd be all good to go there. So then it would just be a matter of going to whatever browser you had, and then choosing the print function to print that out, and you'd be good to go. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my grade, and that's it. That's all there is to run an interim report, so you're good to go. One last thing, if you are a pass-fail and you were going to be running your grade book through percentages or total points for the final grade for Q1, if you wanted to change that at this point, you could double-click on that, and you can choose to override a grade. And for fail, that would be an F, and for a pass, that would be a P. And you can see those listed if you scroll all the way down here to the bottom. So if you wanted to switch that to a P, you can. And you just hit close. And now I have overridden that score. And when when you run that interim report, it will now show a P for that. You can go back and uncheck that and click close, and you're good to go. All right. Have a good year, and hope this helps.